witnessed this young, apparently totally healthy, this young child, apparently very healthy, but who died because the doctors did not attend to her seriously, assuming that children can always overcome the disease. That child in the US died from corona. She was just 5 years. And the doctors said, oh, no, the children will recover, but she died. Those are her parents of that child. As we look forward to emerging from this COVID-19 nightmare, the NRM will work out a bailout package for the categories that were affected business-wise most. These are people like the owners of private schools, the entertainment industry, the hospitality industry, the street vendors, etc. Where will the money come from to bail out these people? By January 2020, all the electioneering will be over. How much money shall we have spent on the registration of voters in the month of November 2019? How much money would we have spent ever since the time of the registration of the voters in the month of November 2019? The total will be Uganda shillings 1,073 billion. Fortunately, this huge money is a one-time expenditure every 5 years. We are not going to spend it again for another 4 years. We shall therefore have money with which we can address these needs of bailing out our people. In the end of the year address, I will touch on the challenges we faced at the beginning of the year: the locusts, the floods, the landslides, the floating islands on top of the coronavirus. What happened to the others apart from the virus? They have been resolved either wholly or partially. Instead, we are now having the problem of surpluses of sugar, maize, milk, banana, cement, steel, etc., as already said. Uganda under the NRM is unstoppable. In the battle against the coronavirus and the other viruses, our scientists have given me happy news that given the funding the government gave them, and in spite of the delays by the neo-colonial jesters called PPDA, they are clowns called PPDA. They have developed 7 wonderful products, 6 of which are under trial, and 1, an immune booster, is already being used. The first 3 are all antivirals, killing the virus and limiting the damage by the virus to the body. The scientists have told me that dozens of people have been healed by these substances. But starting with the 15th of December 2020, patients under strict medical supervision will have this medicine tried on them. My scientists have told me that these fellows have been healed. Then I said, why don't you announce it? They said, you know, with the science of the world, these people were healed in the homes. They were given, they went and got cured. Now, if you simply go by that, then the scientists would say, but how do you know they didn't take other things? Because you are not there. You gave them. So the trial, which is going to start on the 15th of December, will have these patients imprisoned in one place so that all the scientists will watch that it is only our medicine that is being applied on them. And when they get cured, they will know that there was no other intervention. The scientists are saying that within 40 days, enough patients, I think 40 days from the 15th of December, enough patients will have been treated to convince the other persons that are not part of the trials that the drug works against the corona and other viruses. Then I said, why 40 days? Because to know that the drug kills the coronavirus, you need only 14 days. They said no, because you see, we shall first start with a smaller number. Then you must increase the numbers until the numbers are enough. You treat like 12, then you treat another 40, then so that they say okay, it is working. But they have told me on good authority that some people have been healed of the corona. So the three of these substances deal with the virus. I will not tell you what they are, because some of the people in the radios may be spies and they take it away. But the first three deal with the virus. Then the fourth exciting product is a bronchodilator, a drug that will keep your lung airways open without the need to use the ventilators. You know, the Europeans are using the ventilator. They put akamori in your, I think a ventilator is akamori. They put akamori, I don't know where they put it, either in the throat or somewhere. And apparently those momoris can cause a lot of other problems. But ours dilates the bronchial, the airwaves, the airways of the lungs biochemically. It makes the lungs open up without the need to use the ventilators that cause so much damage to the body parts where they are inserted. Our scientists have also developed two diagnostic tests, one of which uses saliva and can give results in 30 minutes. As the English say, there is always opportunity in adversity. Since it was going to be more troublesome to postpone the elections, we decided to go for the scientific elections, where we would campaign by holding small meetings, not exceeding 200 people, outdoors, 200 people if you are meeting outdoors, using the radios, etc. Some candidates, however, from the beginning saw that they would not observe these precautions and that they would hold rallies as if there was no danger to the people. This irresponsibility must be condemned. These aspirants stand in open-roofed vehicles to wave at the gathered people, address crowds. This irresponsibility must be condemned. These aspirants stand in open-roofed vehicles to wave at the gathered people, address crowds, etc. As you all have seen, even when the NRM crowds gather in this campaign, I have not even once stood in an open-roofed vehicle to wave at the people or talk to them. I simply slow down, as you have seen some of those samples. I simply slow down, remain inside the car, wave at them using signs. I advise them social distance by using hand signs, tonsembera otampika, and to put on masks. Let's first see those groups. This is the recent campaign, this campaign here. I could put on the M19. I have the masks here. This is a medical mask, which is put on by doctors when they are operating patients. So I can put this one on, put on a face shield, and stand in a crowd and wave. I will not be infected myself. I could put on the N95, this one, the surgical mask, and the face shield, stand up in an open-roofed car, wave at the crowds, and talk to them while I remain safe, not vulnerable to the infection by the disease from the crowd. That would, however, be criminal to the extreme. I would be safe, but encouraging the people to infect one another. For me, I would be safe, but for them, they will be infecting one another. Because they are not protected the way I am protected. They don't have this type of mask. Even if they have masks, they are not this type. They are not the ones which are foolproof. So to see a leader encouraging people to congregate, to congregate and showing them as if they are doing the right thing is really criminal. And it's good to see leaders, to see people. I'm enjoying people now, to see what sort of people do we have. The people you say are your supporters, you want them to die, you don't care whether they live or not. This one is incredible. This is incredible. So I cannot stand to wave by encouraging these people as if they are doing the right thing. While the locals have been ignoring the social distancing, etc., the added danger, of course, the locals, that was in Karamoja, I had to shout at them after our leaders' meeting. I was telling them, trying to tell them to while the locals have been ignoring the social distancing, etc., see, the locals have been avoiding the social distancing, and as you see, the infection in the country has not been as bad as it has been in other parts of the world. 19,000 total cases after 8 months is quite a big achievement. The problem, however, is that with the but this could be, I don't know, I have not talked with the scientists recently, but this could be because the locals are local, they are there, they are sort of isolated. They don't mix much. So even if they are drinking their marwa together, if none of them has the disease, then yes, they are doing the wrong thing, but they are safe because nobody has imported the virus into their area. But with the campaigns now, this campaign, you now get people from far away who should not be moving up and down, who now come. So even if these fellows had been safe in their ignorance, congregating but safe because they had no local source of infection, these irresponsible leaders are now importing from far to these poor locals. That's where it is incredible irresponsibility, and especially for people who say they want to be leaders. While the locals have been ignoring the social distancing, the added danger to the campaigns is that political groups from afar, encouraged by non-caring politicians, can now import added danger to the local communities. However, some of the political actors working with anti-Ugandan elements from outside have been promoting impunity and swearing that they will render Uganda ungovernable. They've actually been talking about this, how they will make Uganda ungovernable. We have been monitoring them through intelligence. These groups, working with criminal gangs, whom they pay money and give drugs, taking advantage of serious weaknesses in the police. Some areas of Kampala were declared no-go areas for law enforcement by these conspirators. You remember they had Kawempe Republic, where the government should not exist, the government of Uganda. And they have been having other no-go areas. They have been saying that they will ban the petrol stations in Kampala. When therefore When therefore the Honorable Chagulanyi, one of the presidential aspirants, and the Honorable Amuriat, another presidential aspirant, were arrested on the 18th of November 2020, those criminal gangs, sponsored by political opportunists and backed by some external elements, decided to execute their long-planned scheme. They started burning tires on the roads, mounting illegal roadblocks, robbing Ugandans, beating people, attacking people with NRM uniforms, stoning cars, stoning security personnel, damaging government cars, etc. Now you can see what they were doing, those people. You see that attacking a policewoman. Please bring it back. Want to see it. Bring it properly. You see that criminal attacking a policewoman? Bring it back. Don't keep it there. Now, see that fellow grabbing the policewoman? Those are the Democrats. That's democracy now. That's how democracy works, according to the lecturers in democracy and their supporters. You go on. Go on. Are you tired? What has happened? Bring others. They were destroying cars. That's democracy. Democracy, oh yeah. Democracy, oh yeah. Okay, good. Very good Democrats. There they are robbing. You see, they are robbing people there. See how they are undressing women? That's democracy now. They are undressing. That's democracy. Anybody who undresses an African woman, NRA deals with him. So that was democracy, opposition style in practice in Kampala. In spite of the weaknesses of the police that allow such impunity of lawlessness to persist in our towns, because this lawlessness has been there all this time, and the police have been doing nothing. They have been coexisting with it. In spite of the weaknesses of the police that allow such impunity of lawlessness to persist in our towns, the overall security posture of Uganda is robust. And that's why many people make a miscalculation, because they don't know actually our system. They just see a few policemen, they think that is the end of the story. There is a Nyankore saying, there's somebody who drowned in the lake thinking it was a pond. He saw what he thought it was a pond. He went to step there and disappeared. So these fellows, when they see those corrupt policemen around them, they think that's the end of the story. They think that they can make Uganda ungovernable. In spite of the weaknesses of the police that allow such impunity of lawlessness to persist in our towns, the overall security posture of Uganda is robust. A marked force response was immediately activated, and 1,014 suspects were arrested, of whom 843 suspects were charged in the courts of law, including Kyagulanyi. 699 were remanded, 93 released on court bail, while 113 were released on police bond, including the Honorable Amuriat. 21 were cleared and released, and 13 are still in police custody, pending court, including those who burnt Wobulenzi Magistrates Court that are facing charges of terrorism. Unfortunately, 54 people died in this confusion. 32 of the dead were rioters, according to the report I got from Grace Akulo. Because I went in that report, name by name, those who died. 32 of them were rioters. Some were hit by stray bullets, others, not the 32. Because the 32 died in confrontation with the police. They were attacking the police, and the police, the security forces shot them because they were attacking them. Some were hit by stray bullets, and 2 victims were knocked by vehicle registration number UAW827N that lost control after the driver was hit by stones, and another vehicle with presidential candidate Museveni's pictures where the driver was again hit by stone, also lost control and knocked somebody. According to the police report, for instance, the 5 persons who died in Nansana were part of the rioting group. They had apparently overpowered, in quotes, the police. I will get the details of overpowering the police. What actually happened? It is criminal to attack security forces by throwing stones or attempting to disarm them. In that scenario, the police will legitimately fire directly at the attackers if they fail to respond to the firing in the air. Many of the upcountry police groups are not equipped with anti-riot equipment. Shields, batons, water cannons, rubber bullets, etc. And should not be, because we should not be a country of rioters, that every police post must have anti-riot. Why should we be like that? Why? Keeping law is everybody's duty. It's not a favor. You are not doing anybody a favor when you keep the law. You are obliged by the Constitution to keep the law. And you are obliged to report any law breaker if you see one and you don't report. After it is an offense. If you see somebody committing a treason and you don't report it, you are committing what they call misprision of treason, which is a very serious offense. So, we don't have to have a riot call or police post. No, this police post to deal with people who know, who respect the law in the country. Yes, the riot police are there in some areas of the country, but they can't be everywhere. So, when you are dealing with these policemen, you are dealing with policemen who are not equipped with the anti-riot gear. They are just ordinary policemen. Many of the upcountry police groups are not equipped with anti-riot equipment. Shields, batons, water cannons, rubber bullets, and should not be. We should not have a country of rioters. It is the duty of everybody to keep the peace. If the Honorable Kyagulanyi was arrested, his supporters should have waited for him to go to court, as he eventually did. The idea that Honorable Kyagulanyi or any politician is untouchable because he's a politician, and if police legitimately arrest him, there will be riots, is not acceptable and must never be repeated. Is not acceptable and must never be repeated. A very clear picture of impunity by the criminals comes out in 3 incidents that happened on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd of November 2020. On these 3 dates, highly trained security personnel wearing the uniform of the counter-terrorism police went out on patrols through the so-called no-go areas for law enforcement. There are parts of Kampala which are no-go areas for law enforcement. Yeah. On the 20th, the patrol went to Makerere Kivuru, north of the Kiseka market. They were attacked with the Mtayimbwa by thugs. 2 criminals were shot dead there, and the 3rd one died later on account of injuries. They came to attack them. These were in uniform. Counter-terrorism police, they came to attack them. They were shot. On the 21st, the patrols went to the Katu area, where thugs started throwing stones at the security personnel and injured one of them. The attacker was promptly shot dead. On the 22nd of November, the security personnel were patrolling the no-go area of Nakivubo. One thug started attacking them by throwing stones. He was shot dead. You can see that You can see the videos of a criminal that was attacking a policewoman, what we showed at the beginning. Was attacking a policewoman, and a group of criminals undressing NRM women. This will never happen again. This will never happen again. Anybody with ears should hear, but nobody will ever attack a person wearing the uniform of the NRM. The perpetrators have tested the consequences of playing with fire. And when I was in Karamoja, I said they will lose appetite of attacking the uniform of NRM, and they will lose that appetite. It is wrong for some groups. I hear so many groups talking. So many groups talking. As soon as anything happens, everybody is a lecturer. Is a lecturer on all and everything. But if you want to talk honestly and seriously. And some of the people are the ones misleading these young people. Because these young people could learn. But I have quite a lot of information about elders who are misleading these young people. Those who think that I don't know what's happening are really making a big mistake. There's nothing I don't know. And you can play whatever games you are playing, but we shall defeat you. We shall defeat you, and we'll know who is who and who is doing what. And we are ready for all eventualities. So, those who rush to condemn the police, the army, yes, they ever make their mistakes. If they make mistakes, I will be the first to condemn them. And I happen to know more about all those subjects than anybody, because I've spent my life dealing with those issues. But what I find disgusting is to see people who are dishonest and misleading, especially the young people. It is wrong for some groups to only condemn the security forces, but never condemn law breakers that attack innocent people, kill them, rob them, etc. If you want to condemn any wrongdoer, don't be one-sided and you say you are a leader, you are this group. We respect people, but they must respect themselves. Or a time will come when we shall tell everybody what we think about him. Because this is our country, we are not guests here. It is our country like everybody else, and nobody has got the right to mess up our country. In the book of Romans, chapter 1, verse 32, I happen to know it in Runyankore, ziri abareba abo ababikora nabo ababishemerwa. I don't know how they would say it in Uganda. I think it would be like ziribasanga. Ziribasanga obabakora ebyo nabo ababisanyukira, something like that. But in the English it says, who, knowing the righteous judgment of God, that those who practice such things are deserving of death, not only do the same, but also approve of those who practice them. Ziri abareba abo ababikora n'abo ababishemerwa. Woe unto those who do bad things and those who rejoice or approve them. The weak police responses in the past may have created that false impression. It was definitely a miscalculation for the schemers to imagine that they can use such anti-people techniques in a country led by the original National Resistance Army. You make that miscalculation, you do so at your own risk. I can assure you of that. Whoever you are. You have no right to stone Ugandans, to undress them, including women, because they are wearing yellow garments. You have no right to damage property. The original mistake, of course, was by the presidential candidates that did not adhere to the Ministry of Health guidelines and to imagine that they are immune and can violate those safety measures with impunity. The court system should also help the country by strictly implementing the law so that nobody is led in temptation. But the courts also cause problems. I'm told this time they gave strict conditions to Mr. Chaguranyi of the bail, that if you do this, I hope they are serious. I hope they are serious. I extend condolences to all the Ugandans and their families that lost their lives in these senseless riots. The government will compensate all those who were not rioters but lost lives in this confusion. Those who are not rioters. If you are a riot, we cannot compensate you. No way. But if you are not a rioter but you lost your life, the government, after due process, will compensate for the loss of life. The government will also compensate those who lost their properties if it can be verified. Regarding the illegal rally at Luuka, the police could have warned them and concentrated on Honorable Chaguranyi. Because you see, the villagers, I think they are not fully sensitized about the dangers of COVID. They seem not to think that it is there or something. There's some, I don't think they are fully sensitized. Because even me, those crowds who wait for me, even when we don't invite them, you find they are gathered. So the correct thing would be for the leaders to refuse to encourage those crowds. It should be the leader that should be targeted, not necessarily those could be talked to in a microphone and but it should be the leaders. The leaders should be the ones to be accountable, to be arrested for without fighting with the population. Regarding the illegal rally to Ruuka, the police could have warned them and concentrated on Honorable Chaguranyi because he should be the one to discourage them and not encourage them to congregate. When my supporters congregate, I do not encourage them. I discourage them, as you saw in part of the vision. On the side of the police, apart from their weaknesses and some corruption that have led the criminals and their opportunistic manipulators to believe that they can act with impunity. You see, the criminals have been misled because they don't know NRA. They just see policemen. They think that's the security of Uganda. So they think, we can do whatever we want. So the police have misled these people. But you are not going to disturb Uganda. You are not going to disturb Uganda, whoever you are. The police should also audit the phenomenon of shooting people by stray bullets. There's also that issue of the stray bullets. Because among these 54 people who died, I have now confirmed 32 were rioters. 2 died, they were knocked by the cars which were stoned by, so they were also by the rioters. So that leaves about 20 people who died. Stray bullet, stray bullet, stray bullet. So that phenomenon of stray bullets should be audited. What was the original purpose of those bullets before they became stray? Because you see they strayed, that means they were supposed to go someplace and they strayed. But what was the original purpose? Even if you do not have anti-riot equipment, you can still firmly but humanely handle a riotous situation, as I guided in my letter to the IGP of the 8th of September 2020. You should first fire in the air to scare the rioters. With firing in the air, there cannot be stray bullets. If you fire in the air, you cannot talk of stray bullets, because by the time the bullet falls back on the ground, it is no longer lethal. It's like a falling stone. Stray bullets only come into play when you are firing directly at the attackers, but some bullets miss the attackers and hit the bystanders, passers-by. Or people just sitting in their homes. The piece which I want. There are incidents, there is a piece regarding some incidents where the police were captured shooting. I want that video to be shown because this is part of my statement, but there were some policemen who were seen shooting some place. I want to show it to us. Hello, sleeping. Have you slept completely? We are waiting for the police. Please, my friend.
Wait. 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 Kaya tumuze mu.
Where is that picture? We need it. Hello, want to see that picture properly? We are all watching. You are not able? What's your... There were two, let's see whether these wonderful people will get them before we leave here. There were two videos which you should try to sort out before we end. Two videos, one was with a white pickup where some people were shooting on the side, on the roadsides, as if they are shooting people. So then there was this one where there are these uniformed people, but it's not clear. I demanded to know from the people concerned where this incident happened. These incidents happened. One incident apparently happened at Nsangi, where a police officer called Chidega was injured by rioters. And that pickup, we saw the white one, was evacuating Chidega, who had been injured by rioters, and that the firing was to scare the rioters so that they evacuate Chidega. And it was at Nsangi. So we are going to do more investigation about that, because now we know where it happened. Now, these other people of uniform were in Mukono at a junction with Kayunga Road. Now, what were they firing at? We shall find out. The issue is that we have got cameras everywhere. So there's nothing that will happen which we shall not see. The only thing is that the rioters were attacking the cameras. These Democrats were attacking cameras. Why? Because the Democrats don't want to be seen what they are doing. NRM wants transparency. The Democrats want darkness. They don't want evidence. What do you feel about cameras? Why would you want to blind the cameras that are protecting your family from criminals, unless you are a criminal yourself? So these incidents, we shall get, I will get all the details and put them on the TV. But I have been told that one incident happened in Nsangi, and another one was in Mukono on the junction with Kayunga Road. The message about the coronavirus and the violence cannot be concluded without integrating it with the success story of the national resistance movement right from 1965, when as a student group, because this is the summary of our message to the electorate. As a student group, we rejected the politics of sectarianism, religious, tribal, or gender chauvinism, and emphasized the politics of dealing with common human needs: peace, food, shelter, clothing, education, health, jobs, poverty, markets for our products, etc. Unlike 1962, when the political groups had fragmented the political map along tribal and religious lines, our emphasis on the needs of the people rather than their identity, the NRM has been able to create more unity among the people, and that is why the NRM is always winning with 60% up to 80% in all the election cycles. On account of a more united population, we have created a powerful army. The two, a united population and a strong army, have created peace for the first time in this part of the world in 500 years, ever since the collapse of the Batres dynasty in the year 1500 AD, coupled with private sector policies, we have attracted considerable levels of foreign direct investments from outside in the form of factories and service companies. While in 1986, we had only 80 factories. We now have a total of 4,920 factories, 8,400 service companies, and 4,100 ICT companies. These have helped us to end the shortages of the goods and services in the country, such as shortage of sugar, soap, sodas, beer, cement, steel, and transport, financial services, insurance. They have also helped us to create jobs that are not government jobs or agriculture jobs. These non-agriculture, non-government jobs are now more than 2 million. These foreign economic actors have also helped us to generate more taxes. While in 1986 we were collecting only 5 billion in taxes, we are now collecting Uganda shillings 21,000 billion. That is 4,200 times more than in 1986. We therefore have more goods, more services, more jobs, although not enough to cover everybody, and more tax revenue. What is therefore needed is okugabula bulungi, pokoma Rome, I call a joke. Good and targeted distribution, meaning budgeting of this money to cause faster growth. We also need to stop corruption because it diverts money from development to stealing. Besides, we should use the big economy now. The GDP now is $34.7 billion compared to US dollar $3.9 billion in 1986. To transform our indigenous society from a society of abakorera ekida kyonka, teach me each keken, to a society of people who work for ekida, for the stomach, ensawo, the pocket, with ekibaro, the calculation, i.e. fully monetizing the economy. This will have the effect of expanding the jobs in the agricultural sector. All these efforts will lead to global waking up of the population of Uganda and the transformation of the society and the economy. Subsistence agriculture will disappear and be replaced by commercial agriculture, industries, services, and ICT. This will result, as has already resulted, into big-scale production of goods and services. Where shall we sell all these products? We go back to the plan of our elders. Mzee Kenyatta, Mwalimu Nyerere, Mzee Obote, etc. of the East and Central African integration, including the political federation of East Africa. This is the medicine of the NRM to deal with the 500 years of political, security, and growth problems of this part of Africa. This was, I thought they would show us on the TV, but your TV has no time for Africa. It is busy with football of Europe, so they seem not to have, they are not bothered. But I kept this. This is the picture of Mzee Kenyatta, Mzee Obote, Mwalimu Nyerere on the 3rd of June 1963, where they declared federation this year, the year 1963. But unfortunately, UBC doesn't have these pictures. You ask them about football clubs in Europe, they will show you. If you are looking for a football club. This is one of the aims of the national resistance movement. Why? Because we want to solve the problem of markets for our products. Therefore, the summary of our stand now is 11 points. Number one, people's needs rather than emphasizing in unhealthy ways the identity of the people meaning sectarianism. This creates more unity and a strong army, number 2. 3, the 2 in number 2 create peace. Number 4, peace plus private sector policies have attracted a lot of FDIs, foreign direct investment, amagaga from outside. These have solved the problem of shortages. That's number 5. Number 6, they have created many non-governmental and non-agriculture jobs. 7, they have also enabled us to collect more taxes. 8, we therefore need to okugabula better. I call a joke. The MPs and the President, with good kugabula, nothing is impossible. Number 9, we also need to eradicate corruption that takes away the resources of the country. Number 10, that leaves us with the problem of abakorere chida kyonka, that must also work for the stomach, for the pocket, but also with the ekibalo. Number 11, that will lead to huge volumes of production that will need a larger market, that will lead us to the struggle for the East African integration, including for the East African Federation and the Continental Free Trade Area. I thank you, Ugandans, and I wish you good luck. Thank you very much.